accarezzarti, le tue mani fra le mani stringere ancora.
Hello, it's The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw here, and I'm at the Venice Film Festival, very much the Gustav von Aschenbach of criticism, pining after the unattainable blonde youth of cinema. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Paolo Sorrentino has rediscovered his voice, his wan humour and his flair for the surreal and the sensational set piece in La Grazia, the opening movie here. This wintry, elegant piece of work is a welcome reassertion of his natural style after the facile and weirdly humourless affectations of his previous film, the very disappointing Parthenope. It's a dry comedy of grief and regret which wears its dreamy melancholy and ennui like a well-tailored, if fussily old-fashioned suit. It returns Sorrentino to the various mysterious tableaux of political power that recurred in his Il Divo from 2008 about the political mandarin Giulio Andreotti and his 2013 masterpiece The Great Beauty. And above everything else, Grazia returns Sorrentino to the star of those films, the 66-year-old Tony Servillo, his male muse and alter ego, an actor able to suggest fathomless depths of sadness or lenient humour with a single smile. Oddly, that last film, Parthenope, assigned the Servillo-esque role of the knowing outsider to Gary Oldman, who had to play a bafflingly supercilious version of the author John Cheever. Maybe this film, concluding as it does on a distinctive note of euphoric sentimentality, does not quite add up to as much as the director thinks. But it intrigues, it exhilarates, and it shows us once again that Sorrentino is cinema's heir, or the nearest we've got to it, to Antonioni. The scene is Rome and Servillo is Mariano, the President of the Republic, nearing the end of his term of office, admired for his rectitude and stately bearing, and perhaps also in having won the presidency for having thwarted an extremist candidate. A rather amazing set-piece scene at La Scala Opera has a tuxed member of the audience call out to him, "You saved us from that fool." He is a widower and distinguished former judge, renowned for an impossibly large and dry book on the minutiae of legislation, and he's a stickler for the letter of the constitutional law, having earned the nickname Reinforced Concrete. Mariano is assisted by his lawyer daughter Dorotea, played by Anna Ferzetti, who's exasperated by his reluctance to make decisions. He must decide on whether to sign off a bill making euthanasia legal and also decide on specific pardons for a woman who killed her abusive husband in his sleep and a man who killed his dementia-patient wife. Mariano dithers. Eccentrically, his only pleasure is listening to rap music on his earphones, and Sorrentino, as so often in the past, incidentally supplies plenty of distinctive electro-pop on the soundtrack, buzzing and clanging like an MRI scanner, and it seems his only friend is his personal protection officer Labaro, played by Orlando Cinque, who gives him forbidden cigarettes. The awful truth is that the end of his term of office has given him an inkling of the end of his life, but not brought Mariano any peace. In fact, he is in agony, haunted by the thought of his late wife being unfaithful to him 40 years before. And with who? Mariano suspects his contemporary Ugo, played by Massimo Venturiello, who has slippery ambitions of his own. The only person who knows for sure is her best friend and Mariano's old classmate, Coco Valore, played by Milvia Marigliano, a dyspeptic and opinionated critic, a very Sorrentino-esque character, in fact, a type played by Servillo in The Great Beauty. She refuses to betray the confidence of her late friend, and as he prepares to lay his robe of office down, Mariano suspects that he will never know, and a lifetime's devotion to the establishment of facts will only mock his ignorance of the only fact that matters to him. But does it matter? What does matter, given that our destiny is dust? La Grazia is a stylish, soigné film, ruminative and enigmatic. Like The Great Beauty, it broods on the romanità of the capital, the Romanness, the way in which its history and secrets are inscribed on its buildings for those who understand it. And the set-piece moments are tremendous. Mariano is the guest of honor at a veterans' dinner for Italy's renowned mountain infantry, the Alpini, and suddenly bursts into song with them. Perhaps most knowingly, there's a scene where he hosts an official reception for the Portuguese president and simply has to look on motionless as the visitor attempts to process towards him across a courtyard in the driving rain, along a red carpet which is being swept away by the wind, a dream image of the vulnerability and absurdity of official pomp. Arguably, none of this would count for as much without Servillo himself, but it's a satisfying meditation on the pleasures and sadnesses of solitude in old age. And that's it from Venice for the day. Please give this vlog a like and a share, please subscribe and leave a comment, and please, oh please, per favore, buy my book, The Body in the Mobile Library and Other Stories. Details are given below. See you tomorrow.